Okay. Hello everyone. Today is July 19th, and this is Velero committee meeting. And first, let's look through some overall status. For we will create one patch release for v1.11, that is v1.11.1, and we have closed all the targeting issues, and the RC build will be around today or tomorrow, and we can check the full issue list here. So I think Xun later can just show us what enhancement and the issues has been included in this patch release. And for v1.12, as a discussion, we have adjusted the FC date to July 26. So I think the members are trying to close the issue that is targeted for v1.12, and so as to achieve FC. And for the data mover feature, it has been under manual test and nightly automated test for about 2 weeks. And till now, the overall status is stable, so no blocking issues is found for FC. And for v1.13, we are trying to collect the requirements. So if anyone has have a requirement that want to address in v1.13, just open the issues and add the 1.13 candidate tags. That's for the overall status. And for some individual updates, myself is working on the data mover functionality test, and also fix some bugs for around some corner cases. And I also continue to investigate the data the requirement that to have the data more data and the local snapshot coexist. Right now we have several approaches, and if we will discuss this later, and if everything is ready, we will create another design doc. That's from my side. And Xin, please.
I am working on 1.11.1 releasing, and the RC date is targeted to this Friday or next Monday. And the second is I'm also working on the 1.12 issues. And that's all.
Okay, thanks. And Daniel, please.
Yeah, I'm fixing the issue targeting 1.12 to catch up with the progress. First is collect the summary about the skipped the PVs that skipped snapshot for various reasons. That one is probably done, and I submitted the PR and currently in the progress of review. And this week I'm also working on the removal of the backup after data movement. Yeah, that's all.
Okay, thanks. And Jimmy.
First, I'm doing the data mover bug fix. Second, we currently have the end-to-end test, but we lack of the performance test. And now I am doing the work of this new feature, and it's still in progress now. That's all.
Okay, so for this performance automation test, it means we will build a general performance test framework besides the existing automation nightly test, and that will be for the general purpose to test the various operations or activities that involve much data processing, like the pod volume backup restore, or in future also include the data movement. various data movement. So if anyone has any suggestions or experience of this, please just advise, through the Slack channel or anyway. Thanks. And and Danfeng, please.
Okay. The first item is I'm prepared on V1.11 pipeline and run V1.11 nightly. One thing to highlight is in the pipeline, in this pipeline we have covered Kubernetes V1.27 version. And the second item is working on V1.12 test plan. That's all from my side.
Okay, thanks. And Shiqi, please.
I added metrics for data upload and download controller, and in addition, I've been working on adding restore finalizer to clean up the restore external resources, and it's still under review. And that's all from my side.
Okay, thanks. That's for the status update. For the discussion topics, and this one is from me. It's about the investigating item I'm working on. That is data more local snapshot coexist. Right now, after some investigation, we think that there may be two approaches. For one of the approach, we want to build a separate logics, separate logics that is different from the current CSS and backup and restore, and we believe that it will make the least impact to the existing volume snapshot backup restore, but that will inevitably introduce some redundancies in the code, since we have two different set of logics that are doing the same thing, that is to backup or restore the information inside the volume snapshot and the volume snapshot content object. That is for one approach. For the other approach, we want to build this implementation for this requirement based on the existing volume snapshot backup and restore. But we are afraid that we will need some, a refactor to the existing or code change to the existing volume snapshot backup and CSS snapshot backup restore. So we don't want to, bring any, the blocking issues to any of the, existing functionality, including the, we know that OADP data more is using this volume snapshot, CSS snapshot backup restore. So especially in the depending on the volume snapshot and the volume snapshot content in the backup tuple. So we want to know some of the principle or practice that should be kept in order not to bring kind of the existing functionalities. So do you have any advice? Shubham, Scott, for this?
Yeah, I was going to say, first thing is that the volume snapshot that's in the backup table, that's actually right now something that we are relying on, because when we do restore, we use the volume snapshot from the CSI plugin, the CSI plugin created. And then we update the volume snapshot content rather than the snap handle reference. So to point to the new volume snapshot content created by the data mover. So Shubham, I think that means that the volume snapshot content in the backup tarball, we don't actually need it all, right? Or am I wrong on that?
Yeah, correct.
So the volume snapshot content in the tarball, if that disappeared, wouldn't affect us. The volume snapshot, the one created by the CSI plugin, we would need that with the current code base, because we use that with the CSI restore, and then we update it in one of our data mover VSM plugin to point to the snap handle in the new the data mover volume snapshot content. And also in the non-data mover regular CSI case, I think you still need that because when you're restoring, that comes from the backup, and when you're not using data mover, you'll need that.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, I think from Valero's point of view, I guess you could also look at it as that with the current OADP data mover, that's all outside of Velero, so that really would be considered by the Velero code as a non-data mover case. So if I think if you just treat it the same way it would be with an arm restore, where you would need that volume snapshot. But even with CSI, really you don't need the volume snapshot content because that's expected to be in the cluster still in the bare CS in the non-data mover case.
Yeah,
because we don't delete those from the cluster.
Yeah, so the volume snapshot that we need is it's the ordinal one that from the workload namespace, right? So
Yes.
okay. And another more concrete question is like you know in V1.12 we have add some operations or waiting for the volume snapshot that
Yes.
is volume snapshot to be ready to use into the async operation. So that is one async operation. And as the other part, I think the data mover or the OADP data mover is also running as a async operation. So how we make this two async operation together, work together, because I think the later one will rely on the first one, right? Because the later one will also need to wait the volume snapshot to get ready to use before it move some data. So I want to know this maybe the implemented for this requirement has to solve the similar problem.
Right. Yeah, and that's one that in terms of the using the updated 1.12 CSI plugin, where again, like you said, it's now asynchronous. That's not something that we have yet worked, integrated that in with the OADP data mover. So again, I don't think I have a clear answer right now as to how that fits together. We're still kind of investigating kind of what our plans are around that. Shubha, I don't know if that's something you've had any thoughts about or not.
Maybe what we can do is keep the data movement part async and the snapshot to be ready part sync, like let that occur first and then go ahead.
Well, the snapshot to be ready is the part that's async right now in 1.12 for the plugin. But I mean, so I guess that's one difference. So with 1.11 and with OADP, when we run the data mover related plugins, that part was already done synchronously. So we knew it was ready. I don't know if that's just something that we would need to have more waiting in some of those like operations where that would fit in. But the framework itself for Velero and asynchronous plugins, there isn't a notion of multi-layers and levels of asynchronous. It's basically all of the plugins run the first time around, returning all those operation IDs, and then when we're waiting for plugin operations, if you have two different kinds of plugins that are both asynchronous, those are all waiting at the same time.
Yeah.
We don't have. There's not a notion of we're gonna wait asynchronously for all of the CSI results, and once those come in, then we have another stage of waiting for a different kind of plugin, because the API does not have a spot for that.
Yeah, actually, this problem or this question is one of the major, major problem we face if we want to implement this new requirement based on the existing CSI sample backup result. Because for one thing, the existing CSI sample backup result need to wait the volume sample to get ready to use, and then to have Velero to back up the latest volume snapshot content object into the table in the finalizing state.
Right.
That is as a item to be updated. That is for one thing. And the other thing is the data more also need so ideally the data mover need to wait and you need to wait for all these operations to be finished before it starts itself. So it seems just as you mentioned, Scott, well, we have separate async operations and they don't know each other, and we don't need to wait for all the async operation to finish. But right now we are facing a situation that we have relationship of two async operations. That is, one need to wait, the other to finish. That is some awkward we are facing. If we consider all these things, maybe later offline we can discuss together this together this, so that we can we can conclude that whether we need to do some refactory to the existing CSS and backup restore, or we just keep it as is and have a new line or new path of code to finish the others. Yeah.
I mean, another possibility would be to, and again, I don't know how long, if you want to compare how long it takes for a volume snapshot to be ready versus how long the data movement takes, is that it may be that, we still want the async part for, we still need the async part for the CSI plugin, because we're now using the second run through execute to clean up the volume snapshot. But I don't know if it would affect performance much to move the wait for the waiting for the volume snapshot to be ready, the snap handle to be ready, back into the synchronous portion of that, as kind of a, because if you did that, then the data movement wouldn't have to wait because it would already be there. It would all work. Another thing that might work is just having the data movement code itself. Basically, one of the things that you have before you start the upload or the download, you definitely you check to see if that snap handle is available there. I don't know.
Yes. Actually, in the Velero building data more, it has already checked included the code to check the status of the volume snapshot, and that is, it will never start the data movement before until the snapshot get to ready to use. But the other thing is at least for Velero data building data more, it will make some modification to the volume snapshot or volume snapshot content created by the CSS plugin. That is, it will transfer the objects to the Velero namespace, and also need to modify the volume snapshot to some kind of retain mode, so as to to keep the volume snapshot, something like that. So once if the data more doesn't do anything, once it makes changes to this volume snapshot, volume snapshot content, and Velero will have no way to find the objects and then persist it either in the primary workflow or in the finalizing stage.
Well, right. Well, I mean, the finalizing, as long as we continue to return the volume snapshot content, and items to update, like it's doing right now, then when finalize gets called, those items are in the list. Those will get updated with their final state.
Yeah, but it's just we need to avoid the possibility that the data more do modifications to this two objects before the finalizing state of finalizing happens, right?
Because the finalizing doesn't happen until all of the asynchronous operations are completed. So hopefully at that at that point, anything that's going to modify these things has already been done. So we should be ready to make the final
Oh.
changes and final updates, you know, into the firewall.
Yeah, you mentioned the case, but that means you know, the CSI plugin tells the volume Velero that you need to back up these two objects via volume snapshot object A and the volume snapshot content B A. But later, when the data mover finishes, it turns to volume snapshot object B and volume snapshot content object B. That will I think if we don't do anything, the Velero will not be able to find the
Oh, because those weren't added by anything as. I mean, how's that being done right now then? Because I mean, that's.
Yes, actually, for the current built-in data mover, at the very earlier stage, that is when the data mover is under the preparing phase, the volume snapshot and volume snapshot content will be modified. Okay, I think that is the situation we are facing. Maybe we can discuss this later together to include both the requirement of that from Velero part and from OADP data more part, and finally, if we want to do some refactor to the existing CSS and product backup and restore, we expect that it not only to meet the current requirement, but we enhance it for its own good, and that may be better. So maybe we can discuss this later offline.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. That is for these topics. Do we have any other topics? Okay. I think we can finish the meeting here. And thanks everyone for joining. And have a good day and good evening. See you next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.